and once again, thank you all for joining today. Orina, my memory is not perfect. I think this is the third time we've done this, or maybe the fourth. I don't remember.
I even think maybe fifth or something.
Perhaps it's
Yeah.
been a few times, and the first time was right after the war began, a little over 2 years ago,
Yes.
and we reached out to Orina, and she had pivoted her organization. She'll tell you more about this, but from its previous mission to relief into Ukraine, and we had, and I think our attendance today is somewhat indicative of a bit of the situation. In those first few sessions, I think we had quite a few people. We had, two or three, four times as many. And I think and I'm not an expert on news or culture, but there's just so much going on in the world, with Israel, Palestine, in the U.S. with crazy political news every single day, and now Haiti and Cuba. And so, one of my fears has been that our interest in and our love, I don't think our love will subside, but our focus on what's going on in Ukraine might slip, might subside a bit. So anyway, we reached out to Orina, and she very kindly, because I know how busy she is, agreed to do this session. And I think we're going to try to do subsequent periodic meetings like this, just to stay close to the situation in Ukraine. So I don't want to take up all the time. So I just wanted to kind of preface why we're here. And for those that I don't know, and I think I know most everybody on the call, I'm Jeff O'Keefe. I'm the executive director of Zen Peacemakers, and I'm so pleased you're here. Thank you for the support. And I'm going to, I think most everyone knows Orina Krajewska. I'm going to hand the microphone over and let her introduce our topic for today, and herself, and Vlad. So Orina, it's over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you for being again. And I'm very happy to see you. It's been, as Jeff, as you said, it's been, yeah, I guess maybe 5 times that we saw each other. But for me, it's you have been with us since the beginning, and it's very. A word important is not relevant even. So I thank you so much for the possibility to see you again, to share, to have that circle and sharing, because we thought I'll just introduce my friend Vlad in a second, whom we will have this opportunity to share today together, the situation and also the needs. But we thought, as we knew that maybe the amount of us today will be more intimate, but this will, I hope, allow us to hold a conversation also, and think maybe together what can we do based on what we can share with you, what we do on daily basis, but how we can spread the ideas, how we can cooperate, beyond any boundaries and beyond any borders. That's what I would say. So for those who I don't know, maybe just tiny introduction. So I do have a foundation in Poland, and we operate in Poland, and it's based on integrative medicine and holistic approach to health. And this is our main access is health education, and we have been doing it past 8 years. And we started off, maybe some of you may knew my mom, Małgosia. So she was a teacher, a Zen teacher, and then when she fell ill for cancer, we started to look for integrative approaches and holistic approach to treating cancer. And that was the beginning pretty much of our foundation that grew and grew and grew over the years. And I'd say, main axis, main thing of what we do is based now on prevention of chronic diseases in that holistic view. So, but I'm not here to talk about what we do every day because it changed and it shifted a lot since this full-scale invasion of Ukraine. And we decided to go fully for what are the current needs, because if to do, I think this is like from my very deep gut feeling that holistic means also to see the current needs and to respond adequately to what is happening. And if something like we have experienced in Poland, I can only speak from my Polish experience, but fortunately, I do have friends like Vlad, who's with me, that we can cooperate with, and we can, I think, expand the help to those who need this help most. So since these 2 years, as some of you remember, we have mainly focused at the beginning on the most current needs that actually continue until now, and we will talk about it a little bit. So we organized a lot of shipments of medical equipment, quick surgery tools and needed for hospitals in Ukraine, and it happened miraculously that I think second day or third day of invasion, we already had a contact with hospitals and with defense forces of Ukraine. So it was a very direct line for this. For me, it was like a green corridor that we did. So most of funds, I have to say, were from Zen Peacemakers. And thanks to through this amazing net of hearts, we have really gathered a lot and sent a lot of shipments. This year, we managed to do 3 shipments, as far as I can remember. And as you know, no, sorry, this year we haven't. So I mean last year. So as these 2 years are going on, we started also to work on the ground, because the situation was like both ways. So one help would be needed to be sent over to Ukraine over the border, and another was and is still a refugee at the beginning crisis, and then now a situation that we deal with in Poland. So we started to think how to respond, what to do in order to help these people who come, but also us to sustain this huge shift on social level. So for me, it's always about making connection and building bridges. And here, I don't want to say much more, because it just goes directly to cooperation. And I want to introduce Vlad. Sorry, Vlad, for talking so much before introducing you.
It's absolutely fine.
So Vlad, a very dear friend of mine, has been a volunteer, an activist, and we know each other through our friend Taras Gembik, who you maybe know, some of you, because we have done this Zoom previously with Taras. So Vlad, you're going to say more about projects and programs that we hold together, but also about your own program. But I just want to share the name of it. So it's a Galas collective, and initiative that you are co-creating, and Bliskist collective also involved in, as well as SDK Słonecznik that you maybe heard of, that is connected to Museum of Modern Art, that we have been cooperating with since the beginning of invasion. So Vlad, maybe I'll just pass on the mic to you if you want to add at this point anything. Should I?
Yeah, so maybe thanks a lot, Orina, for invitation, and thank you. Thanks everyone for having us here, for inviting me to this call. It's really important for us. I mean, I'm Ukrainian, and I'm also when I say for us, I mean for Ukrainians, but also for volunteers who work within this field. It's very important to see that, there are still people who are focusing on this situation in Ukraine, on the war, and are ready to help and listen to us. It's really appreciated. So yeah, as Orina said, I'm an activist and volunteer, and I'm originally from Ukraine, but for last 10 years I live in Poland. So basically, when the war started, I was in Warsaw, while my family still lives in Ukraine. With the beginning of the war, I started to act together with Bliskist Collective, together with Solidarity House of Słonecznik, that was created on the basis of Museum of Modern Art in Warsaw. And later on, together with my friends Taras and Katya, we organized the Galas Collective, and which main idea is basically to raise funds through organizing different events. But I will talk about it a little bit later. I wanted to maybe just give a couple of comments on basically on the context, on what is going on in Ukraine, like in 3 words, and just so we could better understand the needs of those who are right now in Ukraine and the refugees in Poland. So just to be sure, in 2024 is really, it's just started, but it's a really stressful year for Ukraine, mostly because of the fact that it's really right now in all of the senses dependent on the help and funds from, like, financial aid, I mean, from the partners. And recently it faced kind of non-rhythmic receipt and reduction of this financial aid. At the same time, unfortunately, Russian army managed to build up, and they started, how do you say that? Not offensive actions in several directions. So in March 24, so they managed to occupy a really big city of Avdiivka in the east, previously, of course, destroying almost every house there. Right now, there is also an intensified missile attacks on the north, which is the Sumy region. It started like a week ago, and it has escalated so quickly that already over 4,000 of people has been evacuated from this region. Basically, if we are talking about the year 2023, we could see that basically out of 6 and 4 million Ukrainians, Ukrainian refugees abroad, there was around 1 million of Ukrainians who returned home. There was a lot of factors. So, of course, there was a homesickness factor. There was a factor of maybe improving economy in some sectors. But the most important factor was basically that the stabilization of the front line in the east, and the relatively safety of big cities far from the front line, like Kiev and Lviv, basically because of the Western anti-missile systems. They proved to be very effective, and that is why missile attacks on the big cities were not that effective, and people were feeling more or less safe. I say more or less because, you know, it's absolutely still not safe, even with the anti-missile systems. And while I'm emphasizing this, that just to understand that already right now, people are receiving very troubling messages that I'm not really sure about those weapons structure, but how do you say this, that the missiles, or like in those anti-missile systems, like weapon, I'm not sure, sorry. Like they are finishing. Please correct me if you understand what I mean. So that is why those anti-missile systems cannot perform their work like 100% effectively. That is why the risk of destructions from the missile attacks, from the Russian missile attacks, is going to be increased in the upcoming weeks or months. Therefore, I'm emphasizing this just to understand that there will be probably in upcoming months some new waves of people who would like to leave Ukraine again because of the rising, like increasing safety issues. So this just to give you, you know, like the context on the latest news and what was going on there. And also to give a little bit of maybe information that what are the top priorities of civilians probably in Ukraine that are right now living in Ukraine. So I would point out two. So the first one is the help and funds to rebuild destroyed houses, mostly because of the, you know, the front line is really huge. It's like, I don't even remember how many kilometers, but the amount of destroyed homes, infrastructure, etc., on the front line, and even with in other regions that was destroyed by the missile attacks, is really alarming. And we have a lot of people who are inside of Ukraine and have their homes destroyed. The second thing I would point out, the aid for the hospitals, because of course, because of the attacks, there are more people who require treatment. And because of the disruption of logistics disruption, there is also a need in, for example, in a hospital, Ohmadit, which is the cancer center for children. Yeah, I think this was something that I wanted to say about the situation in Ukraine. And I would like to continue also with the situation of the refugees here in Poland. So Poland is actually one of the first countries that Ukrainians go to, basically, when they're leaving Ukraine, because of the unavailability of the flights. Right now, everyone is traveling by ground, and Poland is basically one of the first top destinations of basically every Ukrainian that travels outside of Ukraine, but also the refugees. Right now in Poland, we have like 1.5 million of refugees, of which 63% are women. And you know, when talking about the needs of refugees here, we must understand that this is already like the third year of this war going on, of this situation. And European Union and government managed to basically satisfy the basic needs of the refugees here. Also, of course, with the help of the partners and different non-governmental organizations that also help refugees. I recently found a really nice research. It was a survey conducted by Deloitte. They were actually analyzing the needs of Ukrainian refugees. If I'm not mistaken, it was April 23. So some time already has passed, but the key things remain the same. That most of the refugees, they actually did not report deficits in terms of basic needs like shelter or food or medicines, etc. But most of them were reporting deficits in mental well-being. So such as, for example, limited access to psychological help, to healthcare, to educational services. The second biggest factor that was reported was the language difficulties. They really play a big part in the lack of absence of some services, and of course, as well as the integration with local people. And basically, given the long-term negative effects of the trauma that people have because of the war, I think, in my opinion, as also the person who works in this field, that this should be a top priority right now, like helping people to integrate in the country they reside in, help people to build a dialogue between the Polish community and refugees, to build a cultural exchange between these communities, to give them help with access to psychological support, or even give them the psychological support. So in my opinion, this is the priorities for the people who are now here, right?
Can I add something, Vlad?
Yeah, sure.
Because I do, for me, I can say from the the other side of the mirror, say, so as someone who is more in the welcoming ground, and I see huge danger, and for those of you who are probably everywhere in the world now, and especially in the United States, with such a tension where we see the dangers of again, if I may say, like nationalism growing up and getting stronger, and these divisions getting so they get really hard, like they strengthen. It becomes really an issue in Poland now, with having to first experience this huge wave of support and like this heart impulse that was spread at the beginning, and now we are just facing the other, like the other wave of like the opposite to it. So as for me, I see it as a huge danger, and exactly what we need to counter. So to inflame the integration, to get to know each other, to build bridges, to create a common ground for us, and safe ground for us to meet. So safety is the first, for me, is the first word that comes to mind. If someone flees the war, the beginning, I heard stories of people who would, you know, like there were many people taking other people's homes. But I had friends who said like they invited some people home, and there were women, and they wouldn't leave the room. They didn't want to leave the room with their you know, the shut, like windows shut, with so like so traumatized, obviously. So as Vlad, as you were saying, to first of all, to create safe space, to create to meet the trauma in a very not imposing way, from my perspective, what we can create, but to create a ground, safe ground to share it, to have psychological help. And I would like to just briefly say about just to refer to a an event that we held together on it was on 25th of February, so just now, recently, not even a month ago. It was around 24th, so we thought of the second anniversary of the war. So what could we do? So we did what we do the best. So Gala's main organizer created a space for everybody to meet, and that was international, mainly Ukrainian, but also from Belarus, from other countries, from Poland. So a space to meet. We had art therapy class, and also we had this psychological discussion that we thought the subject and the topic that is most important now is faith and hope. So, and how to really, for me, it's something that is like over and over going around my mind and my heart, is the wspólnotowość. The what?
Community?
Again?
Community, or because I didn't.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot that. Like at the main moment, I forgot the word. But yeah, community, to build solidarity, and actually for me, you know, it links it because we have from the perspective, okay, so from the perspective of what we do usually, so health education as a foundation, I do not see it separately now. I see it as a component of health, and component of health on like social level. I don't see how we can be individually if we're not together. So I'd say for me, it's one of the main tasks, questions, open questions also. And I would like to also invite you, as we have this opportunity to share with Zen Peacemaker community, which is based on communal movement and sharing. So maybe we can also share ideas, how to push things forward, and how to inflame also this faith and hope in dark times. Because I have to tell you also, from Vlad shared what happens in Ukraine, but I would like to also briefly share what I shared with Jeff just before Vlad also joined us. That you know, we have in Poland also, as being front country, we are safe, but there is discussions coming back, and now we have this discussion again, and this danger kind of like growing again, really discussing if we will face war, real war, as in Ukraine, in I don't know, a year, 2 years, 3 years. Just TV today, I opened up TV, like big news, and the discussion is you know, is just like on regular basis. So like from my perspective, what can we do? We can do what we can do locally, and for me, the local actions, so common kitchen, as we do, galas. We have classes for kids to meet, Polish kids, Ukrainian kids, from other countries. We just had also an event with at the foundation that we also our friend Taras works in now, which is the name is Foundation Towards the Dialogue, and it's a Roman community foundation. So it's a multicultural meeting based on health, based on stress reduction, based on meeting with psychologists, cooking together. So sorry for taking again so long, Vlad, from you. Just wanted to give this other perspective, Polish perspective. But I thought maybe, Vlad, maybe we can show what we have been doing, no? To share screen, to show you some pictures.
Yeah, I also thought so, because since we already touched this topic, maybe it's better to share, because we have a small presentation to share with you guys and with also pictures, and it's always more fun to listen to something if it has pictures. I know it's from...
Did you
Sorry?
want to add? Did you want to add something? Did I take something from you before? Like, do you want to add?
Absolutely not. Actually, I'm really thankful for you for adding this comment, because yeah, this is another thing that I forgot to mention, that right now also maybe like in Poland, a part of those discussions of danger, there is also a rise in tension, unfortunately, because of the grain.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if
So
you heard.
somehow started like a pure, I don't know, trading problem that no one of us really paid attention to. So there was like an argument between Ukraine and Poland regarding the grain trade. As a person not interested in economics and grain, to be honest, I really didn't really know about this issue for a long time. But this, with the help of of course, parties that are interested in making the conflict, with the medias and with everything, it became a very huge like issue of sorry, I like the words, like it's became a really huge tension issue between Ukraine and Poland, and as the result, even in Warsaw, we can sometimes see a kind of hostile behavior right now towards Ukrainians. So that is why I, like, whenever this happened, I thought that, okay, the first thing that we really need to do in such situation is to build those bridges again, to bring those people again in the common space where they have a dialogue, where they have a cultural cooperation, like where they have basically a space to know each other, to get to know each other without all of those kind of conflicts in the back of the mind, right? So it's, yeah, it's also important. So let me find briefly the file. Okay. And share.
Vlad, is there sound with your images also, or are they just images?
Just images. It's just images.
Okay, good. All right.
But sorry, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not really. I haven't used Zoom before, so that is why it's sometimes. Orina, do you have this presentation? Maybe if you could share, if you can share the screen, because I think there's something in my settings that doesn't allow it, and I don't want to change.
Okay. Share screen. Share screen.
Share screen, and then you select the there you go. You did it.
I did it. Wow. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
That's okay. So yeah, so you can just talk, and then I'll be the mover of slides.
Yeah. So basically, so at some point in 2022, in spring, me and Taras and our third friend Katya, we were kind of also worrying about the fact that, you know, the attention to Ukraine at some point, you know, cannot be all the time at the point as it was in the beginning of the war, right? We really wanted to, like, being here in Poland, we really wanted somehow to contribute to help our country and to raise some charity funds for different organizations. I will talk about them later, but basically our focus was on the organization that help rebuilding houses. And we wanted to do it in kind of like to kill a lot of, I don't know, we have this saying in Ukraine, to kill two rabbits in one shot. It's a very cruel saying, but it means like to gain some, like a lot of goals by doing some one action. So by this event, we wanted to basically, first of all, to raise funds to Ukraine, but secondly is to create here in Poland the safe space for integration between Ukrainian refugees, Ukrainians in general, and Polish people and people from other cultures and countries. Cultural cooperation, just a space for fun, and yeah, support of the refugees that do, for example, do some crafts or arts and can sell them. So basically, our collective is called Galas. In Ukrainian, it means noise or the sounds of conversation. And yeah, so basically, we decided to be a little bit creative in raising some funds. And basically, what we do. So we started as a charity event, and it was a free event for everyone in Warsaw, which was kind of a mix of everything. It had a really rich program. There was a musical part. So basically, we were like Katya, our friend who is co-organizer. She is a DJ and a music producer, so therefore she has some acquaintances. So she was inviting musicians and DJs to our events. So we had like a lineup and a space for the musical part. We have like the food court, which is in most of the cases provided by also another organization, Słuszna Strawa. And this is the also like a collective of refugees from other, like a lot of countries like Belarus, Ukraine, also Palestine, Syria, and which prepare food. Yeah, so they were preparing a lot of vegan snacks for our events. There is also a market where, for example, refugees from Ukraine who are now in Poland and, for example, did not find a job, but they know how to do a fancy embroidery, for example, or they know how to do some toys for children. They could participate in the market and sell their stuff. And yeah, we usually have a lot of common activities. So, for example, common kitchen where everyone is invited to prepare a dish of Ukrainian origin and then to share the meal. Different activities like related with Ukrainian traditions, because always, like often we do events on some holidays, for example, Christmas or Easter. So also there's a lot of activities related with the traditions. And yeah, so that's like the main idea behind those events. We really cooperate a lot. If you can, Orina, just go back to the previous slide. Just wanted to say that we cooperate a lot with other organizations. For example, with Orina's foundation Bądź, with Museum of Modern Art in Warsaw. We had an event. We had with Solidarity House of Słonecznik, with the collective Mowa, Oplicz, and also with the Theater of Performance Art in Kampnagel in Hamburg. So in general, we, like, for those 2 years, we had, I think, like 15 events or something like this. And we raised over 60,000 of zloty. So the main idea of this event is like, it's free, but there is always like a place where people can donate any amount they want. So also the food that we give at our events is for free, again, just for the donation. So every person is free to give anything that she feels of giving. Yes. So by this we raised over 60,000 Polish zloty, and we donated to several organizations. I would outline out of those Repair Together and Liwej Bereg. So those are the organizations that, here we can see Liwej Bereg, and those photos were taken from their Instagram. This is the collective of volunteers that help rebuilding damaged houses of Ukrainians. Right now they are focusing on the regions of northern regions where Russian troops have left. Of course, there is a huge catastrophe going on in the east, but with the very active and intensive fights there is no possibility to rebuild the houses there, right? There is only a need to relocate the people from there, unfortunately. So yeah, and maybe just to show examples of the events. So just for you to understand how was it going on. So for example, this one we had this summer, and it was in the collaboration with Mowa Association. It was really nice weather back then. I remember it was really warm and sunny, and basically the event was also started with the communal kitchen. There is an invitation for everyone to take part in the communal cooking. We were cooking, as far as I remember, vareniki. It's like the most important dish of Ukrainian cuisine. So this communal cooking. At the same time, there was a musical performances by the folk collective that had the performance of Ukrainian folk music. There were DJs that were playing their music. There was vegan food court by Slushna Strava, of course. And there was a lot of different activities. So for example, we had a workshop of the Petrikivsky rozpis technique. This is like a very traditional Ukrainian technique which you can draw. And there was a lady who was a specialist in this, and she was teaching like people on how to draw this. There was also a workshop of doing the summer wreath. If I'm not mistaken, this is the word, like out of the flowers around the head. And there was also a psychologist we had on this event, and she was making kind of a group consultation. And later on, she was giving her contacts to everyone who wanted to have a individual consultation later on, and she was offering this for free. Maybe I will not go through all of them, Orina, but maybe, so this one is also it was very beautiful. We were invited by the performance theater Kampnagel in Hamburg, where we went for 2 days, and we were having an event centered around Ukrainian winter traditions, so Ukrainian Christmas traditions, St. Andrew's traditions, and we were together. There was a lot of different activities. So, for example, we were learning how to cook kutia, we were like singing Christmas carols, etc. And maybe, Orina, we can show also like the communal kitchen. It's also the series of events we do in partnership with Foundation Bądź. So the main idea, the main concept behind those events is basically to invite people to cook together. So there is Pani Lubov, who is leading the process.
Can we say privately?
Sure. It's my mom.
Especially Vlad.
Yes, and so we started doing it together when my parents came to Poland as refugees in the beginning of the war, and they lived here for like half a year, if I'm not mistaken. But then they decided to go back to Ukraine. So under her guidance, we were all gathering like a big group of Polish, of Ukrainians, of people from Belarus, from other countries around big table, and we were learning and cooking, how to cook, and cooking together like a lot of dishes like borscht, vareniki, different sort of pies. And of course, after we cooked them, we were eating them. Yeah, we were sharing the food. And this was really successful series of events. We are very proud that we had this, mostly because we realized how actually common activities, like, for example, common cooking, especially when we were held in nature. It was in the summer, we were held in really nice locations. It was just, you know, in the middle of the park. How it helps for people to know each other and how it helps to remove the barriers. So we had a lot of people saying that, refugees, for example, from Ukraine, saying that they were avoiding social interaction, mostly because they were scared, or they had this language barrier, or they were shy or something. But they did not have this barrier when they were joining this kind of activity, mostly because they were not focusing on the need of building some interaction with someone, but they were focusing on basically some, you know, common thing to do. In this case is the cooking. Yeah. And maybe, Orina, the last slide is also regarding your initiative. Maybe you can also.
Yeah. Just very briefly to tell you, for some of you may already heard and know, and also I have talked before about communal kitchen cooking, and another program that we have is for kids, and it's called Let's Be Close, and it's a series of workshops for kids that is based on yoga and on stress reduction and breathing exercises. So it's for local children and also refugee children, and it's been going on, I'd say, if I may say, successfully, because it's a continuous program that if we only have a possibility, like funding possibilities, we do continue. And the group is well, everything that Common Kitchen is about, the kids get 100 times faster, I'd say. So we see how needed it is and how amazing it is for kids to interact without a common language sometimes, but just as playful as they can be. Even though we had experiences also, really difficult experiences we had also art therapy classes before, and it happened that some kids from regions evacuated from really dangerous regions, they would at some point, I don't know, draw wounds on their bodies, or there were events like that happened, that we realized also we need also always a psychologist at the place, or someone who will be there to support in cases. But I'd say usually and mostly it's it's a very heartful and heart feeling process. So I'd say like to maybe because it's the end of our no yeah. If I may, I don't as long as I do have share screen, because I would like to see you. So I'll stop share screening in a second, but forgot to add actually a slide that if you have, of course, like mainly what we thought with Vlad to share with you first, what we shared. Secondly, to open conversation, and based on what we do, maybe you come up also with ideas and we can share ideas with how to cooperate, how to spread, how to yeah, bring the initiatives further, maybe to other places, to your places. As Vlad already said about galas happening in Hamburg, so maybe some other places may be open to it if you are interested. So we are definitely open. Of course, raising funds is the main purpose of either sustaining programs that we have, rebuilding houses, sending medical aid. Actually, we have just now, because we do keep getting needs from hospitals. There is a urgent need from a hospital that Vlad, you know more about actually, but we cannot respond unless we have funds, and this is an ongoing problem, an ongoing thing with drop of funding now. It's and it doesn't stop, obviously. So we have this very open way and doing so many transports and being in contact with especially a very brave person who's been traveling on and off from Poland to Ukraine, from Poland to Ukraine, and also bringing meds and everything that we send to sometimes dangerous places. So I would also share a slide with you if you have any ideas where to take or where to fundraise and how to fundraise. It's been for now working with for us with either PayPal or just bank account, and always with a title. It can be a title Ukraine or anything that we will just know that comes for this type of aid, and we direct everything that we get to help. So I let myself share this slide. So if you have any ideas, any any possibilities, that will be greatly helpful.
You know, if Orina, if I could say, can PayPal be placed in the chat? Yes, I think Orina can put the PayPal in the chat so you can copy it probably. But what I wanted to say was, you know, among the 16 of us, we have limited resources probably, but the resource that we really have that is going to help here is all of our individual networks, all of the people that we know. So, you know, I think I used to have this slide. I'm not sure that I do, but maybe Orina can send this to me, and we can send it to you. And if you have groups that you're part of where you live that you can share, then this multiplies. You know, 16 of us becomes 100 people or 500 people. So, and we've done this once before. Zen Peacemakers can't directly be involved in the middle, but we can help. We can kind of help make these connections this way. So we did this once before, and I think we were quite successful. So
yeah, no words of gratitude, really.
yeah, so if you can save the information for how to how to donate and share it with those that you know.
I will just put in chat. And maybe we can open a conversation if you have any questions, if there's any ideas based on what we shared with you, any, yeah, maybe implementing also, yeah.
Anyone have a comment or a question or looking for Annie? Thank you.
Thanks so much, Irina and Vladyslav, for presenting this wonderful effort you're making in Ukraine. And I have a couple of things I'd just like to share. One is that the ideas of hope and faith, you know, including these as major factors in instilling that in the people, not only in Ukraine and Poland, but all over the world right now. And how do we do that? It's really a very existential, important question. I think that your ideas about cooking and having mixed kitchens and people joining together to eat and share culture are fabulous. I was in Washington, D.C. about a month ago, and they have several Ukrainian restaurants there now. One of them is in the southeast. It's called Ruta. And then there's another one in the northwest. They were always packed with people. You had to wait to be served. They were very successful, and maybe somehow they could be contacted for donations. Perhaps they know, perhaps they don't know, but that's one way of reaching out for donations. And yeah, thank you so much. If I have any other ideas, I'll send them to you.
Do you remember the names of these restaurants?
Yes, one is Ruta, R-U-T-A. The other one, I can send it to you. I'll look it up. I don't remember the name right now, but it was in the Northwest section. Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. Yeah.
Thanks, Annie. Thanks, Annie. Halem, you have your hand up, my friend?
Yes. I have a question for Orina and Vlad, but also an offering. I'm a musician. I play mostly improvisational wooden flutes. I've been zooming into children's hospitals in the United States. If it in any way fits or makes sense to you, if you can connect me with people or hospitals, you mentioned a hospital, children dealing with cancer. I'm not looking for any payment. I would love to share. I've put together many slideshows of beautiful photographs of nature. I walk a lot, and I have almost 15,000 photographs since COVID began. I'm putting together slideshows that I can Zoom and screen share with people. And as I show the slides, I improvise live flute music to the images, mostly outdoors of nature. If it would be soothing to staff people in these organizations or anyone, both in Poland and Ukraine, I'm opening this offer to Zoom. I'm not very tech savvy, but if there's an email, I can send a Zoom invitation, we can connect, and then I can offer, it could be 3 minutes to an hour of slideshows with live flute music. Very soothing flutes. So,
Thank
and
you.
I would like to offer that in any way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Halem, would you feel comfortable putting your email address in the chat so they can?
Yes. I'll put my email address and also my website, which I'm not selling anything. It's my offering to the world. It's many photographs, music videos, and music that I've been composing, all kind of improvisational, but I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you, Halem.
Thanks a lot.
Kathleen, please.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Hello, and thanks to the two of you, Orina and Vlad. I really feel humbled by the enormous, not only workload that you do, the work you do, but also the yeah, if I may say, the joy and really the hope that you radiate from that work. Thank you so much for that. I have the question. Is the change in the government in Poland towards Tusk, does that have any influence on what you, for example, Orina, said about raising nationalism or something? So do you see or hope for any positive change on that level? It would be my question. And of course, I'm kind of proud that this event in Hamburg has happened in my country. I'm in Germany, in Cologne, near Cologne region, and I'm thinking about I wonder if I can get some more information, but also could get in touch with Kampnagel, where I know some people, to get some information about what you did there, and see if there's other places here in Germany where we can maybe invite you. I live next door to a woman in our co-housing project who works with people with Down syndrome, and we do have a guest from Ukraine, and also an artist, a painter, and so there are also contacts to Ukrainian art organizations and so on. So maybe we could raise something here in Cologne to support your work. This is an offering, and the question towards political change is still there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathleen. So I can answer the political, and then Vlad, you would probably it'd be good if you connected directly with Kathleen to exchange more information, because I think also implementing galas further is such a wonderful idea. But with political change, obviously, I'd say it was, for me, I cried when it happened. So it was a miracle that happened, the change that we had, very tiny difference, but still democratic opposition won. So for us, it was like a wave of relief. But sorry to be like getting into politics now, but can't avoid it. Like 8 years of inflaming such a huge nationalism in the atmosphere, in the air, pays off. So with the danger that we face, so with the danger of just a narrative of war threat, of as Vlad was mentioning, like suddenly grain conflict on the border, and we see how easily the social majority gets inflamed. So I see that we're not in easy times. We're not in ease to calm things down. And doing that, so with that shift of political shift towards, for us, democratic opposition, now majority, it's still not like, day-to-day change, especially with the dangers that we have. So it's a mess. It's a mess.
I can imagine. Just that I wanted to bring it up, and maybe there is a little piece of hope there, but.
I mean, for me, it was a miracle, and still sometimes I can't believe that it really happened, and I would be like, it makes me, I get shivers when I think what would happen if we lost, if I may openly say my political views.
Thank you for the question, Kathleen, and the answer. And Vlad, did you want to add anything to that, or was that complete?
Regarding the political situation, I don't think so. I think Orina really said everything that I
Okay.
have in mind. And Kathleen, thank you so much for your interest. I can see that you provided the email address, and yeah, I will email you.
And as well, I put my email address in the chat. If anybody needs to know how to get in touch with someone else, you can do a triangle through me and I'll connect you. Vincent, you had your hand up before and then you had it down and now you have it back up again. So I'm going to go ahead and call on you. And Carla, I see you've got yours back up too. So Vincent first and then Carla. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. Very nice to hear that situation and of the kind offering. I'm part of a Latino association in Sweden, and we do psychotherapy primarily with a focus on well, psychotic and people with grave mental disorders. And we have a method that's created for this kind of group. And if possible, we would like to get into contact and be able to offer free therapy online or like get some things moving if possible. So yeah, if I can mail someone and get a meeting starting, if we can
Right.
help each other
Is I guess in English.
if it's needed. Yeah, in English. Sorry, yeah, we don't. Maybe someone knows, but I don't.
Thank you. Okay, would you mind putting also your email in the
Yeah.
chat? Wow.
Thank you, Vincent. Wonderful, wonderful offer.
Yes.
Good. Carla?
Yes, thank you. Maybe this is more a question for Jeff. I don't know. I'm new to ZPO, but I'm wondering, has ZPO ever done any kind of Sangha, or maybe not, Sangha might be too strong of a organizational term, but any type of sitting virtually in other organizations for people that might come? Like for instance, I'm part of the Plum Village tradition, and we do a sit for Gaza. And we've got one of our Jewish folks that are leading that sit. And so people from Gaza come to that twice a week. Is this something that ZPO has done in the past? Is it something that could be done? It's just a thought, and I'm just wondering.
That's a great question and a great idea. And so, you know, ZPO is a much smaller organization of less than 200 members inside of the larger Zen Peacemakers, which is about 6,000. So just for context, we have done a few larger meditation meetings like this for particular purposes. And it's something we can do again. It's a good idea. And I believe you know, because I think you come sometimes. We sit in the morning, Monday through Friday. But I think you're thinking about something a little more specifically focused on an issue or a question or a problem, and I appreciate that, and I'll make a note, and we'll perhaps, I think it's a good time maybe to do this again. Yeah. Does that help, Carla?
It does. And then the thought would be too, like the morning invitation, is that something that could be extended out internationally to centers that maybe have a need similar to this organization, where people could come, because there's not a lot of talking going on. It is a time to sit, but I
Yeah.
don't know if that's appropriate. It was just a thought.
Yeah. And that morning sitting is open to anybody. Yeah, anybody, anywhere. So good idea. Thank you, Carla. Franziska. Hi.
Yeah, thank you. Orina and Vlady, it's just great what you are doing, your work. Thank you so much. And it's so important. I'm living in Switzerland. We also have Ukrainian refugees, but completely different the situation it is in Poland. There's many refugees there. And in our sense center here in the town where I live. I will raise money again, and I hope we can make a donation. As we did it one time before. I hope that I can collect money also. So just, I wish you so much hope and faith and love to go on. Thank you.
Thank you, Franziska.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think that's the power and the beauty of this kind of community and collective action. One person doesn't have to do everything. You know, if a lot of people do a little bit, it really can make a difference. So that's wonderful. Helen, you've got your hand up.
I forgot to mention another offer. If a group of people were to come together, wherever it might be, as a fundraiser for you, I would offer for free. I'm not looking for any payment. I could do a half hour or an hour slideshow with live music, and it could be shared among the people as a way of raising funds for you. I'm more than willing to do something like that as well.
Where are you based, Helen?
In New York State, in kind of the middle of the state, near the beautiful Hudson River, in the woods.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you, Helen. We have a few more minutes. If anyone has anything else you'd like to ask about or comment, Annie?
I have a question about the kinds of information that you value as reliable and true. Do you listen to the news on the radio, and what newspapers do you find are reporting this in a fair, so-called way, something
That's
that
a
you
good
can rely on instead of fake news or, you know?
I'd say Vlad, no, you will.
Yeah, it's a nice question. Of course, I know, but let me think about some of those which are in English, because most of them, I mean, I'm Ukrainian, but let me quickly check if the one I'm thinking of has the.
I can share. You can redirect me, Vlad. But what I do read is Kiev Independent is a newspaper. It's in English for sure.
Okay.
Yes, Kiev Independent, and I also found there is a nice media, Swidomi. I will put also the name in the chat. So I'm not sure if they have the website, but they for sure are on Instagram, and they have a lot of fact checking, like before they post anything. That's why I really value them. But yeah, I think they have also, yes, they have the website. I will put the name in the chat.
I put Kiev Independent.
Thank you for the question, Annie. It's a good question, because there is so much disinformation floating about.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a comment or a question? Bob Knott, hi, good to see you.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentations. Very, very helpful. I just wanted to suggest a little further afield, but something that can be done by a wide variety of people in the democratic countries. Try to contact your elected representatives and encourage them, push them to direct more aid to Ukraine and to Poland. Try to get some of these funding log jams broken so that various kinds of aid does go to Poland. And we have certain, members of Congress from certain factions that are instrumental in a lot of this obstruction, and call them, even call your friends and relatives who might live in their districts, that sort of thing. But these small gestures, I think, do cumulatively start to have impact. There are some that are kind of on the fence about how much to allocate, how much to fund some of these efforts in Eastern Europe. And but I think it's another thing that we can do, and we should while we can.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
Kathleen, thank you for being here, Kathleen. We see you have to go. Thanks for staying. Yeah. We have just a few more minutes. We don't, oh, Helem.
One more offer. If either Orina or Vlad, if there is a single person, either of you, who would like a taste of what I do to see if it would be something that you would enjoy bringing more to people, I'm more than happy to offer personally to you a slideshow and music so you can get a taste of what this is about. And so if you're at all interested, or there is someone, if you send me an email, then I can send you the Zoom invitation, and we can very briefly share the slideshow and music so you have a feel for what this is.
Thank you. Sure. We do. I just to share, because we have a lot of programs at the foundation that are health related. So I guess I'll definitely keep in mind that maybe we can have just invite you for, because we do a lot of Zoom. Actually, we have a support group for oncological patients. We have so there's support groups that we hold. So maybe that would be a great try out how it works.
Very nice. Very nice.
Great.
Anyone else? We just have a few more minutes. We don't have to use the whole time. And I am aware that in Europe, it's dinner time. So want to be kind to our European friends here. And
I would say maybe, sorry, I was writing down everything, so to have, to remember. But if you have, I don't know, Vlad's, maybe it's good if you share your email address, and I'll share mine. So if there's anything that comes to your mind, you can just reach us also regarding for me, it's just like to have that brainstorm is such precious, to have just open mind, like keep our minds open on how to fundraise, how to meet new people, how to implement this communal sharing in other places than only in Warsaw. And it doesn't matter how far we are from each other. We can just this is great, and it really moves me, and I'm really touched by our today's meeting. So from me, thank you so much, and thank you, Vlad, also for doing this with us.
Yes, thank you, everyone, and thank you, Orina.
yeah.
No other way to to do it together.
Yes, I totally agree.
Okay, maybe we can finish now. Orina and Vlad, thanks so much for your time and for sharing the beautiful work that you're doing. I'm sorry that you have to do this work, but it's the way of things today. And thank you everyone else for attending today and for your attention and your caring about this issue. And Slavo Ukraini.